think that Gibbs actually might be right, because with that drop of Shock and now the new pickup of Rolled is that's going to be tough. That's a really big blow to your confidence, because Shock did so much work on the offensive side. Things weren't connecting as well, but now with Rolled they have seemed to be a little bit less powerful on offense. Meanwhile, Stromboli, they got the young pickup Chronic, who's definitely going to be popping off. And I think this one's so hard to tell. You've got experience versus a team that's on the come up.
And we've seen how those teams that are coming up can make deep runs and test out or give teams that are more established a run for their money, and that one going to roll wide. But you're right, Turtle. I feel like without Shock was one of those players with pop-off potential. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Roldiz to really have some big games to prove to people that it was the right call.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought that they looked great in that series against SSG. They kept it close in multiple games. Granted, we haven't seen the best SSG yet. They've been in a little bit of a slump, but still, Sonics keeping it close. There was potential. The rotations looked solid. Roldiz had a couple of good shots, but there's a good shot from Alraz starting things off for Stromboli.
Alraz, we hadn't even mentioned his name yet, so he enters the picture with a bang here.
Yeah.
Past all the defenders, J-Ruz, Sathu both hanging out in net. One defender flying by, Roldiz. And a quick goal, barely a minute in, Stromboli taking that early lead.
That's the one issue, though. It seemed like on defense sometimes Sonics would get all over each other, panic a bit, and we see too many double commits. That was something that happened a lot against SSG. So hopefully they can clean it up here. Not the best start, but a demo like that. Now a pass to J-Ruz. This was so clean. Those drop-down passes always look so satisfying to watch, James.
And we wanted to see something out of Roldiz. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
That was exactly the right play to make. Roldiz executed flawlessly. So 2 back-to-back goals. Now flip reset from Alraz. Save from Roldiz coming off the backboard. I thought Alraz was going to pick up his second there. Roldiz to the sidewall. J-Ruz will pinch it down to the corner. Stokely, a big clear. Opposite side of the field now. Sathu hits off the sidewall. Over to Roldiz, who put it right down the middle. Chronic into his own corner. Stokely, first hit. J-Ruz looking for Roldiz in the middle. Roldiz shot. That one's going to be saved from Alraz. Roldiz follow-up shot, and that one again blocked by Alraz.
A lot of this responsibility is going to fall on J-Ruz. We can see already his impact on the field. Huge mechanics going off the ceiling. That nice little drop-down pass too earlier from Roldiz was huge. But I'm still thinking back to the SSG series. J-Ruz, he was a huge part of the offense for the Sonics. I even saw a couple of good dribbles. He got a mind game against 2 players for SSG. So we really need to watch out for him and make sure he has a decent impact on the offense, because he's really the only player, at least in my eyes, who can start that opportunity.
J-Ruz, slow playing it, flick it by. Chronic will get the stop in his own corner. Ball getting hung up. Alraz pre-flip, hit, follows it up. Might look for a bump here. J-Ruz going for the 50. Sathu, a quick follow-up. And now Sathu will stay with the play, going for net. J-Ruz pops it over for Roldiz. And Alraz will finally get that clear. J-Ruz over to Roldiz. Roldiz going for the double tap. Chronic can't break it up. And oh my, that one should have gone in. Sathu will try to finish it. That's off the crossbar. Disastrous for the Sonics. It looked like it was surely going to be a goal after Roldiz had that open lane. Chronic had missed the initial backboard read. And then
I don't know how
on that follow-up, oh my.
How did Chronic get that save, though, after he had missed? You think surely Roldiz would smack it in, but somehow, I wish we could see it again. We're probably going to see in the replay. Chronic was able to recover and get the second follow-up hit after missing it, keeping Stromboli away from danger. And now it's still tied up. They've got a chance. It's been slower for Stromboli as Sonics have maintained most of the pressure, but if they can just break out one counterattack is all it takes.
Roldiz will clear it downfield. We're still tied. Those first 2 goals, back to back. Now, will we see another one? That one got in the way. Stokely gets credit for the save. Now back pass for Roldiz. Air dribble from Roldiz in the corner, stopped out by Stokely. Infield pass to nobody. Alraz, huge clear. Chronic trying to slow down this attack. J-Russ will kick it in reverse. Back pass attempted. Roldiz has to touch it to safety on the sideline. Stokely with the challenge. J-Russ helping out. Stokely stayed in the play, but it pinches back to Stromboli's corner. They're trying to get it out. But we have the Sonics swarming. J-Russ looking for someone in the middle. Has a pinch go off to the side. And now Chronic, the big pop. Stokely airborne. Will he beat Roldiz? Yes.
Oh, here we go.
It's skipping in front of net. Floating. And it bounces. Alraz will be denied. And we've got overtime.
Definitely, first game jitters. You can see on both teams. We saw a couple of double commits there for Sonics on the defensive end. Panicking a little bit. Stokely now has a shot, though. How did this one break out? I think this might have been a 50 from the midfield, and it was an open net. Oh, my goodness. The dunk from Stokely, and then the missed hit from Roldiz. Oh, that's rough.
That's got to hurt Roldiz. He knew Stokely was going there, and Stokely might have been able to score it if Roldiz didn't get any sort of hit on it. And so Roldiz trying to break up that play, unfortunately, did not get the hit he was looking for. And Stromboli will make quick work of that one in overtime. We saw two quick goals, Turtle, and then it was silent for a while. And then overtime, they didn't waste any time.
Oh, and this should have been Sonic's game. It feels like Stromboli stole it, I'm not going to lie, because that last hit from Roldiz, I don't know if it was unfortunate necessarily. It was just a mistake from Roldiz where you should not get a touch there. But then the shooting for Sonics, there was like 3, maybe 4 shots that you expected to go in. One of Sathew's actually hit off the crossbar. Look at this. This is the play too. Roldiz.
Oh, yes.
Save from Chronic. And then, Sathew had followed that up too and hit the crossbar. That was back-to-back attempts where Sonic missed.
And you think if Roldiz hit that a little bit harder and went straight in net instead of that bounce, maybe, just maybe, he would have had it and Sonics would have gotten that win. It's a bouncing ball for J-Russ. In the corner, Roldiz taking time. Alraz back to the corner. J-Russ going for a pinch. Didn't go very far. Chronic trying to get it out. This one will float. Roldiz taking a wide berth, now hitting it hard. Stokely with the stop. Gonna go back to the Sonics territory. Quick counterattack. Sathew upfield off the backboard hard. But nobody from Sonics were there to take advantage of that backward bounce. Sathew clearing it to the corner. Chronic trying to take it upfield. Sathew was going for bumps, causing some chaos on the goal line.
Yeah, that's where Sathew needs to fit in as well. Get some aggression going. It seems like the Sonics offense has been a bit spaced out than usual. You can see Roldiz now coming in from the midfield. The save was there from Stromboli. And what I've noticed a lot is, this corner play, so much reliance on the 50s right outside of it to keep the pressure. There's another shot that we're waiting for. Somebody from Sonics. Look at all this pressure. We just need the final shot to be a little bit more on target, maybe hit with a bit more power. Because if you're not converting, it's useless. And Stromboli for that one counterattack, like I said, at the end of overtime, that's all it took for Stromboli to break out.
Stromboli ended that overtime very quickly with the quick counterattack goal. Like you were saying, Turtle, they just needed that moment to break out. And that was enough, whereas the Sonics, you've seen them have so many chances already. Sonics, see if they can start finishing. J-Russ testing net. Chronic and Alraz both jump for it. And the Sonics continue their possession in the half. This is an infield pass. Lovely, but the deflection. Alraz barely nicks the ball, but it was enough to get it deflected out of the net.
Oh my goodness. How many saves are we going to see from Stromboli where it's last second, they get the touch and it narrowly misses the net? Here's another one from J-Russ, saved by Chronic, of course, coming off the backboard. The defense, I am so impressed with. But at what point is this pressure just going to make them double commit, or we'll see a mistake? In the last game, it actually wasn't Stromboli who made that issue. It was Sonics You know, the one time they were tested, Roldes made an accidental hit. Stromboli got the lead. Still the offense, they can't even break out into the midfield. There's no transition game. It's just 50 after 50 and then one final touch before it goes in the net.
Here we see the breakout. Will we see another counterattack goal for Stromboli, whose defense has been holding up so far? 9 saves against the 10 shots from the Soniqs. The Soniqs have saved the only shot that Stromboli has put on target. Pinch across Stokely. Perhaps wanting to get the demo on Roldes. Dangerous ball. Alvarez and half flip back to this one. Sathu, the challenge win, double commit. Stokely gonna go for another play on the ball, and Roldes will get that save. The flick. Chronic to his own corner. Stokely gonna quickly turn. J-Ruz. He has been attacking so much. J-Ruz, 7 shots out of the 10 for the Soniqs.
Well, that demo there from Chronic is what's needed to relieve the pressure. You can't get a hit from Stokely, and how do you expect to keep pressure on offense when the person who's waiting and trying to receive that clear doesn't even get a hit? That's the unfortunate thing about Stromboli right now. As long as their defense holds on, you're fine, but moving out the offense, if you can't get a touch and nobody's in position, it's not going to work out. You're going to be stuck in your own half the entire game. Sonic still moving in with midfield passes, keeping the pressure, and the mid boost is all theirs for taking.
We're starting to see Stromboli gain a bit of ground. Roldes, backward pass. J-Ruz a little slow to that. Might open the door for a counterattack. Chronic needs to get a win, but he doesn't. J-Ruz, second effort to pass it down to Roldes. Roldes jumps a bit early, and that's going to throw off the rotations for the Soniqs for a split second. And now possession. Oh, that win from J-Ruz, so important. Now in the middle, dangerous ball. Stokely will clear it to the corner. Sathu leaves it. It bounces past Roldes. J-Ruz has Sathu on the back wall. Sathu going for bumps.
Well, it's still up.
And now we've got overtime yet again. Stromboli took the first overtime very quickly. See how game 2 plays out. Alraz off the backboard. Stokely, his follow-up blocked. I thought Alraz was about ready to clip on someone. Yeah,
that looked like the end of overtime already in the first few seconds, just like the first game. And I'm paying attention to the third man now for Soniqs. That's so important. There were a couple of chances, especially for Sathu, where he's just waiting in the backfield. Whenever you make Stromboli panic, that's the opportunity. That's when you need to strike, and yet it seems like Soniqs don't want to push up.
Oh, big bump. Alraz goes for net. And they do it again. Stromboli on the counterattack. The bump from Stokely and the goal from Alraz.
I kind of feel like I'm watching old school Veloce. This is such a defensive performance from them where they hold on the entire 5 minutes. You get into overtime and then you start to be aggressive. You get the bump and open net to shoot at. Stromboli managed to take 2 games in a series where they definitely don't have the advantage, at least with experience. And somehow it's their defense that doesn't seem to panic.
Somehow, the defense holding up. They're getting a few favors as well from Soniqs, just not striking the ball the way that you'd expect them to. And now they fall 2 games in overtime back-to-back. Soniqs, they're back to the wall. This is their tournament life on the line, Turtle. There is no room for these types of errors.
Well, and this is the difficult thing about losing a player like Shock. I'm not sure exactly what was happening behind the scenes, but if you lose a player like Shock who has crazy striking ability, this is where he would be needed. And I'm not saying Roldes, isn't a great player right now on the field. It's just, it's a different mind state and it's a different play style, really, because at this point, we're just relying on J-Ruz to hit a shot, but usually he's the guy who's attacking at first. And so that means Roldes and Sathu have to come in with the clutch shooting. They're nowhere to be found. They're a little bit too passive, where normally Shock would come in and finish that shot. We're waiting for one player to step up and be aggressive. Soniqs, they have all the pressure, all the possession. Nobody just wants to push up.
See if Soniqs can start sinking their shots. Numerous opportunities, and they have not been able to make the most of them so far. So much possession.
Yeah.
The demo by Stokely. We've seen Stokely's physicality do wonders for Stromboli. J-Russ dribbling it on the wall. Stokely just getting demos left and right. Roldiz will jump straight up. The backboard pass. It almost worked out. J-Russ now off the ceiling, has to bail. Wasn't the greatest angle. Backboard bounce, Chronic up early. Over to Alraz. Hits it off the ceiling. Chronic back down towards net. Stokely last one back. J-Russ.
J-Russ
wanted to pass that back middle.
I like the idea, though. That's what I'm talking about. It seems like J-Russ is always in position. We're talking about aggression. He's always there, waiting, but his teammates don't want to follow him up, because it seems like they're a little bit scared, hesitant, and fearful of the counterattack. That shot almost goes in off the crossbar. Now it seems like Stromboli have taken some advice from Soniqs and decided not to put this one on the back of the net. They're just hitting crossbar.
Now on the other end, Sathu gonna have to half flip back. Stokely pressing J-Russ, flip reset.
We got it.
Did very well to win it. Now into the middle. Sathu almost had a scoring opportunity. That was a nifty little play from J-Russ. Chronic off the ceiling. Sathu up, beats Alraz by a mile, hitting it downfield. Stokely will tap it up to himself, taking it off the wall now, going for backboard. J-Russ clearing it to his own sidewall, but Alraz there to stop it back. Sathu
I love that little touch.
Trying to boom it out.
You can see Stokely even earlier in the midfield. Nice little hit, keeping it close, and the transition game for Stromboli, even though it's not as frequent, maybe as Soniqs, it seems to be more effective. Always getting a close control touch, then following it up with a very close attempt on net. Stromboli, again, looking more threatening than Soniqs when they have a couple of chances.
Not getting the most time on the ball, but like you said, Turtle, a lot of times it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Yeah.
And the quantity has been limited for Stromboli, but they've still been able to make it work. And we are past the halfway point of this one, still scoreless. We might see another 0-0 overtime game. Stokely, first touch is lovely. Second touch in the air.
Flip
now
reset.
The flip reset. Delayed it a bit. Alraz looked like he got the boost steal. Now off the ceiling. You can tell the Soniqs start to fray at the seams a bit in these tough defensive situations.
Yeah, and this is the most pressure we've seen out of Stromboli, keeping it in the corners and taking a couple of boosts. We've seen Alraz infiltrate the corners, which is great to see some aggression out of them. The question is now, will their defense fall? No, again, somebody's always in front of the shot. And at this point, maybe I would say for Soniqs just to focus a little bit more on passing. Another save from Stokely. These guys are not letting up on defense.
I thought that was it. Maybe this will be Sathu. A light drop down. Chronic will clear it to the corner. Roldiz keeps the attack going. Soniqs relentless in their approach. Stokely, the backflip, finally getting some space into a dribble. This one's going to go up off the ceiling. And again, Stromboli escape with their lives.
Yeah, it's almost like a trap that Stromboli are placing now for Soniqs to get baited into. They just start going forward a bit, and Stromboli, one huge clear. That's what's finished, the first and second overtimes. Stromboli again with the same tactic. It's winding down 0-0. Could we get a third overtime?
J-Russ gets beat by Chronic to the ball. Roldiz, huge play from him. But that ball was able to bounce through. It would have been game over. Stokely off the corner. J-Russ will leave it for Roldiz, who blasts it straight downfield. Alraz to the side. J-Russ trying to dribble it past. Will poke it by. Help from Sathu. Perhaps an opening, but Chronic will slow it down. Can't get the second hit, however. Opening a chance. Stokely will hit it high. J-Russ off the backboard, double tap ball. Drops it down to the middle. Chronic will go towards net. And will this make it to the corner? No, it won't. Another 0-0 overtime. Stromboli has won both game 1 and 2 in overtime.
Even in the final
moments.
Even in those final moments, you could see Soniqs. There was a pass out in the middle, and we're waiting on that third man to go forward, be aggressive. It's a risk, but it's one that you have to take if you're Soniqs. When you have all this pressure, surely you think that'd be enough to give you confidence to push forward, and yet that third man does not want to take the risk. They're just waiting for maybe the first two to make a play, but it's not enough to break the Stromboli defense.
Scary ball. Rolled is gonna hit that back. This is a tough situation for Sathiu. Alraz going for the top corner, and he will end it. Stromboli in 3. And overtime, every game, they come out on top.
It's another hit from Roldes. Maybe he was going for a back pass, something out of the ordinary. It's a repeat of the first game. I'm not exactly sure what Roldes was thinking in both those situations. An unfortunate circumstance now for Soniqs and Stromboli. I don't think I've ever seen a defense just be able to maintain every single shot like that in overtime and not even care. It was like they would get one last second touch and their teammates were acting as if it was normal. Nobody would get out of position. The rotations stayed the same, and they managed to find 1 or 2 transitions, but that's all it took to break down the Soniqs defense.
And, Soniqs, they had their chances, Turtle. They
Yeah.
had multiple chances. The possession was there. If you look at the attack, you look at the numbers, you would have expected the Soniqs to put in quite a few more goals than they ended up putting up. So Soniqs fall in 3, losing in overtime every single game. Their offense, good time on ball, but the finishing was just not there, Turtle.
Yeah, that's such a unique series too, because rarely we'll see a team that's so defensive wait until overtimes to actually make a move. We never saw them transition out that fast until they got into overtime. So it's almost like the more pressure Stromboli were facing, the better they tended to perform and the faster they were with getting out of the defense, James.
Yeah, those counterattacks were deadly. It's what proved to be the end for the Soniqs. Stromboli going to be taking that win and moving on to the next stage of the tournament. We're going to move on as well. The final match of the day coming up after the break.